Hey, what's going on, my fellow idiots? Welcome back for another episode of Idiot Proof Cooking. It's been a couple weeks since my last video, but we're back at it today making some soft pretzels because they are super easy to make and, they're pretzels. They're delicious. Now, you can dunk the pretzels in lye if you want. I'm going to use baking soda for this episode simply because I don't have lye and I would rather not have it around Rose and JP. But other than that, let's get into making these. So we're going to start off with our stand mixer, and into the bowl of our stand mixer, we're going to add in 3 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Next, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of white granulated sugar. Next in is 2 3/4 teaspoon of dry active yeast or instant yeast if that's what you have. I'm then going to add in a teaspoon of kosher salt, and then I'm just going to use the dough hook attachment on my stand mixer to whisk all of the dry ingredients together for just like 20-30 seconds. Once that's all whisked together, I'm going to pour in 2 tablespoons of melted butter and then 1.5 cups of warm water. I had mine heated to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we're just going to mix this all together again with the dough hook on our stand mixer, and we just want to mix it together for the next 7 to 10 minutes until you get a nice smooth and thoroughly combined dough, much like what mine looks like here. Clean off the dough hook, remove the bowl, and your dough should look something like that. It's going to be a little tacky, but still pretty workable. So let's just move the stand mixer and awkwardly stare at the camera for a second. And then we're going to flour our work surface because we're just going to give the dough a few kneads. I feel like whenever we make a dough on the channel, it always ends up this way. We make it in the stand mixer and then we give it a few kneads on our work surface. And today is no exception. That is what we're doing again today. So after you've kneaded your dough for, 1 to 3 minutes, just form it into a rough ball and you're just going to let it sit. So I'm going to cover mine up with a bowl of my stand mixer here. I just want to let it sit and rest for 10 to 15 minutes. The reason is I've got to go get a large pot of water boiling. You'll see why in a second. And then after the dough has rested for 10 to 15 minutes, we're just going to cut off little pieces of dough and start forming our pretzels. Now, I made the first one a little bit too small. You really want like a quarter or a half cup's worth of dough. And then we're just going to roll it out into a thin strip of dough, much like I'm doing here. Once you've rolled the dough out to 14 to 16 inches, make a rough loop with the dough, then take the two ends of it and loop it across each other, and then pull it back down over the loop, and you've got yourself a pretzel. Look at that. Now, like I said, I made the first one a little bit small, so we're going to cut off a larger chunk for the remaining pretzels. There we go. Like that's what you're looking for. That's the size you're looking for. So again, just roll it out to 14, 16 inches, and oh, hold on, Rose wanted to help try making these. Now, if you can see, she's wearing a apron as well. She wanted to get her own apron, and she's clearly helping quite a bit, but let me give you a quick shot of her apron here because we had her aunt make it for her. Look at this. Just give me a second here to lift her up. The official taste tester. What an apron. Rose absolutely loved that she had that made. All right, but let's continue on with making the pretzels. So we're going to roll out another dough here, and like I said, just roll it into a long strip, then make the strip into a loop, fold the two ends, twist them together, and then fold the two ends back down over your loop, and you got yourself a pretzel. Now I'm throwing all of these onto a parchment-lined baking sheet, much like this, and with all of the dough, I got 11 pretzels of varying size. Not exactly uniform in size. There is the 5 others here. All right, so, and there's the little one that Rose made herself. Not exactly perfect, but it's pretty cute, let's be honest. So let's head into the kitchen because what we're going to do is boil these first. Now, normally you would use lye, and lye would help brown up the pretzels when you bake them. But as an alternative, you can use baking soda, which isn't nearly as alkaline as lye is, so you won't get as good of a brown on your pretzels. But then again, baking soda isn't caustic, so there's no risk of burning yourself. So what I'm going to do is add a 1/4 cup of baking soda into 12 cups of boiling water, and then just dunk the pretzels 1 or 2 at a time for just 20 to 30 seconds in the boiling water. Pour them out with a strainer or a spatula or tongs or whatever you have. You really just want to dunk them in the baking soda and water for 20 to 30 seconds, and that's going to help brown up the pretzels when you bake them. After you take them out, sprinkle them with some kosher salt, and then throw them in your preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit and bake them for the next 15 to 20 minutes until they come out nice and golden brown, looking like that. Look at those. They are beautiful. Hold on, let me go get the other batch. Look at those. Look at that little mini Rose one. Oh man, those turned out perfect. Now I'm gonna try and show them to you right away, but they are super hot, so probably let them cool down a little bit. You don't want to burn your hands. I just went on about not using lye because it's caustic and you won't burn your hands, but me, like an idiot, just decided to pick these up and just burn my hands with heat. All right, I let them cool down for about half an hour, and I'm gonna take a couple off here and do the taste test with them. Now hold on one moment. Look at that. Look at that. That is gorgeous. There is the other one. Those turned out quite nicely. Now bear with me. I've got to go get a stool because there is a little man who wants to come do a taste test. JP coming in for the taste test, and he wanted to stand up more so he could see better. All right. There is another close-up shot of those pretzels. Look at those. They smell awesome. They look amazing. And yeah, let's just dig in. It's time to go in. Look at that. Nice and fluffy on the inside, but nice and just perfect on the outside. Nice and salty. They are fantastic. Fantastic soft pretzels. You know what? I should have had some mustard or like some cheese sauce. JP, you know what? They were really hot at this point in time still, even though cooling down for half an hour. He did get into them. You'll see here in a second. He gets into them. But yeah, let's continue the taste test. There you go, little man. Let's break you off a smaller piece instead. They were just a little too hot, see? But he still goes in for it. And do we get a thumbs up? I don't know. Oh, he gives a point. A pointer finger. He's trying to thumbs up. He's still a little young. Anyways, those are soft pretzels, guys. Super easy to make. Like, this came together. Like, with the longest thing was letting them cool down. From making the dough to boiling them to baking them, it was like a half an hour process. Super simple, and these were fantastic. If you had some like cheese sauce or some mustard, would be even better. You could dunk them in, but if you just eat them plain, they were amazing. So let's call it there. I hope you like what you saw here today. And if you did, why don't you drop me a comment, like the video, or even subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching Idiot Proof Cooking, and we'll see you again soon. And I promise I'll get more videos out as we go along. It's been a crazy couple of months. See you again soon.